God says, listen closely, my beloved soul, and pause whatever noise is around you for just a moment. This message is not here to disturb you, it is here to gently align you. There are times when heaven moves quietly, when nothing around you seems different, yet everything behind the scenes is already shifting. This is one of those moments. You did not arrive here randomly, and this message did not appear in your life by chance. Right now, your spirit is being prepared, not rushed, not forced, but softly awakened. You may feel a subtle awareness, as if something is about to unfold, even if you cannot explain it. That feeling is not confusion. It is recognition. God often prepares the heart before allowing an experience to arrive, so that when it comes, it does not feel overwhelming, it feels right. There are divine moments that do not announce themselves loudly. They come quietly, like a knock that only the attentive soul can hear. This is why you were guided here now. Not to create fear, not to pressure you, but to help your heart stay open and present. What is approaching your life does not need force. It needs readiness. God says, sometimes I send surprises not to change your entire world in 1 second, but to remind you that I am still involved in every detail of your life. Even the smallest interaction can carry divine meaning when the timing is right. Even a simple moment can hold a deeper message when heaven is guiding it. You may have been moving through your days thinking nothing special is happening, yet heaven has already marked this window of time. Not because something dramatic must occur, but because something meaningful is allowed to reach you. What is meant for you knows exactly when to arrive, and it does not come late. Let your heart stay calm. Let your thoughts stay gentle. Do not rush ahead trying to guess what will happen. God does not require you to understand everything in advance. Trust is enough. Presence is enough. Awareness is enough. This moment is not about urgency, it is about alignment. When the soul is aligned, even unexpected moments arrive with peace instead of confusion. Stay here. Let this message settle. Something meant to touch your life is moving closer, and it carries intention, not chaos. God says, now let your heart slow down and breathe with these words, because what is unfolding around you is not meant to rush you, it is meant to arrive gently. Many people think surprises from heaven always come loudly, but the truth is, the most meaningful ones arrive quietly, almost unnoticed at first, until later you realize how perfectly timed they were. This is why your spirit was drawn here again, not to create excitement, but to create awareness. There are moments when heaven arranges simple encounters, ordinary conversations, or unexpected gestures that carry far deeper meaning than they appear to hold. You may not recognize it immediately. You may even question it at first. But God says, when something is prepared by me, it carries a calm certainty that settles in your soul rather than confusion in your mind. Right now, something is already moving toward you. Not because you demanded it. Not because you chased it. But because the timing finally aligned. What is coming is not here to disrupt your life. It is here to gently shift your perspective. Sometimes a surprise is not about gaining something new, but about seeing something familiar in a new light. God says, I have been watching the weight you carry silently. I have seen how you continue forward even when you feel uncertain. I have seen how you hold faith quietly, without announcing it to the world. And because of that quiet endurance, I prepare moments that speak directly to your heart, not to impress others, but to reassure you. This is why you are asked to stay present. Not alert in fear, not anxious in expectation, but present in awareness. When the heart is present, it recognizes meaning even in small things. When the heart is open, it receives without resistance. And when the heart is calm, it understands without explanation. There are blessings that arrive disguised as conversations. There are confirmations that arrive disguised as delays. There are surprises that arrive disguised as ordinary moments. God says, do not measure what is coming by its size, measure it by the peace it brings. Anything sent by heaven will never disturb your spirit. You may have felt lately that nothing is changing, that days are passing quietly. But God says, quiet does not mean inactive. Seeds grow in silence before they ever break the surface. Roots strengthen underground long before the tree is visible. What is forming around you has already taken shape beyond what your eyes can see. This message is not telling you to wait in tension. It is inviting you to stay grounded. When something meant for you arrives, it does not need force to enter your life. It recognizes you naturally. It aligns without struggle. It feels familiar even if it is new. God says, trust the timing that is unfolding. Trust the stillness you feel right now. Trust that if this moment has your attention, it carries purpose. Nothing that is meant to bless you will require panic or pressure. Heaven does not operate through fear. It operates through peace. Let go of the need to predict what will happen next. Let go of the urge to analyze every possibility. God says, your role is not to control the outcome, but to remain open to receiving it. The moment will explain itself when it arrives. There are times when a single moment can shift the way you see your path. Not because it changes everything instantly, but because it restores clarity. You did not know you were missing. This is the kind of moment approaching your life now. Stay with this message. Let it settle. Let your heart remain steady. Something meant to touch your journey is drawing near, and it will arrive in a way that feels natural, gentle, and unmistakably aligned. God says, there is a reason your heart feels slightly more alert than usual today, even if you cannot explain it in words. Sometimes the soul senses alignment before the mind can understand it. This is not imagination. This is not emotional fluctuation. This is recognition. When something that belongs to your journey begins moving closer, your spirit responds quietly, not with noise, but with awareness. You have been in a season where you learned patience without applause. You learned endurance without validation. You learned how to stand steady even when answers were delayed. God says, this was not to exhaust you, it was to prepare you. Not everything arrives loudly. Some things arrive when the soul is finally calm enough to receive without fear. What is approaching you carries intention. It is not random. It is not coincidence. It has been shaped by timing, by lessons you already lived through, by growth you earned silently. That is why it will feel different from other moments in your past. It will not demand effort. It will not ask you to prove yourself. It will simply meet you where you are. God says, many people think blessings always come wrapped in excitement, but the most meaningful ones arrive with clarity. They do not rush you forward. They settle you inward. They help you see that you were never behind, only being aligned. This is why your heart is being invited to remain still, not distracted by anticipation, but grounded in trust. There are certain moments in life that gently confirm everything you have been sensing but could never fully explain. They do not shout truth. They reveal it. And when they do, you realize that many of your past doubts were not signs of weakness, but signs of depth. You questioned because you cared. You waited because you believed something meaningful would come. God says, I have watched you choose faith even when certainty was absent. I have watched you continue forward even when reassurance was minimal. This is why what approaches you will not feel forced. It will feel natural, as if it belongs in your life without resistance. Alignment does not create chaos. It creates peace. Sometimes a surprise is not about change, but confirmation. Confirmation that you were not mistaken. Confirmation that your patience was not misplaced. Confirmation that what you felt quietly was valid all along. God says, when that confirmation arrives, you will understand why this season required stillness rather than speed. Do not underestimate subtle moments. Do not overlook gentle shifts. Heaven does not always interrupt your life dramatically. Sometimes it simply rearranges your perspective. A single interaction, a message, a gesture, or a realization can quietly realign everything you thought was uncertain. God says, what is unfolding is not meant to overwhelm you. It is meant to reassure you. It is not meant to pull you out of yourself. It is meant to bring you closer to clarity. You will not have to chase it. You will not have to hold it tightly. What is meant for you remains without pressure. Your past taught you discernment. Your silence taught you depth. Your waiting taught you trust. And now, your awareness is being sharpened not to react, but to receive. God says, let your heart stay open without expectation. Let your spirit remain grounded without fear. When something is sent by heaven, it does not arrive with confusion. It arrives with understanding. Even if you cannot explain it immediately, you will feel settled afterward. That is how you will recognize it. Peace is always the confirmation of alignment. This is why this moment matters. Not because something dramatic must happen instantly, but because something meaningful is already near. You are not being rushed into belief. You are being guided into awareness. Stay present. Stay steady. Stay open. What is meant to touch your life is approaching gently, and when it arrives, it will make sense without explanation. God says, there are moments in life when the unseen completes its work quietly, and the visible begins to respond. You may not hear a sound. You may not feel a rush. Yet something settles into place with precision. This is how alignment often reveals itself, not with pressure, but with clarity. Right now, your life is standing at such a moment. You have carried questions without forcing answers. You have learned how to wait without losing yourself. You have grown without announcing it. God says, this maturity is exactly why what is approaching you will arrive gently and stay firmly. Not everything meaningful enters your life through intensity. Some things enter through peace and remain through understanding. In the hours ahead, pay attention to how your heart responds rather than how your mind analyzes. The mind searches for explanation. The heart recognizes truth. When something meant for you draws near, the heart does not argue. It understands. You may feel calm. You may feel certain. Or you may simply feel present. That presence itself is the sign. God says, I do not surprise my children to confuse them. I surprise them to remind them. To remind them that they were never forgotten. To remind them that timing is intentional. To remind them that patience was not punishment, but preparation. What approaches you now carries familiarity, not because you expected it, but because it resonates with who you have become. There are connections that arrive not to change your direction, but to confirm it. There are moments that do not rewrite your story, but affirm the chapter you are already in. God says, this is why your spirit has been guided to remain open without rushing ahead. When alignment happens, it feels natural, as if it belongs where it lands. You may notice that your reactions are calmer than before. That you are not chasing reassurance. That you are not questioning your worth. This is growth. This is readiness. God says, the right moments do not demand energy from you. They restore it. They do not create doubt. They dissolve it. Sometimes a surprise is not about what happens, but how you receive it. If you receive it with fear, it becomes heavy. If you receive it with awareness, it becomes meaningful. God says, choose awareness. Choose stillness. Let the moment arrive without resistance. What is meant for you does not need to be held tightly to remain. Your journey has refined your discernment. You no longer mistake intensity for truth or urgency for purpose. This wisdom was formed quietly, through experiences you never thought were shaping you. God says, that wisdom will guide you now, allowing you to recognize what aligns and gently release what does not. When this moment passes, you will look back and realize something subtle but powerful changed. Not everything changes loudly. Some things change the way you trust, the way you listen, the way you stand in your own presence. God says, these are the changes that last. Remain grounded. Remain observant. Remain kind to yourself. There is no need to rush this moment or force meaning onto it. Meaning reveals itself naturally when the heart is calm enough to see clearly. What is approaching your life is not meant to disrupt you, but to support you. And when you realize that something meaningful has unfolded, whether through a person, a message, a realization, or an opportunity, you will understand why your path unfolded exactly the way it did. God says, nothing was wasted. Nothing was delayed without purpose. Nothing arrived too early or too late. Trust the quiet certainty you feel now. That certainty is not emotion. It is alignment. If this message reached your heart, don't keep it to yourself. Like this video to seal this moment. Comment what you felt while listening, your words matter. Share this with someone who needs calm reassurance today. And subscribe to stay connected, because messages like this arrive right when they are needed most. You are not here by accident.